All right, the spring and summer swim season is here, and so is a new study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It found that health and safety violations can be quite common at public pools and hot tubs.
The CDC took data from select counties in 5 states, including California, and it found nearly 80% of inspections and found at least one violation. 1 in 8 inspections prompted immediate closure due to serious health and safety violations.
And we reached out to one of the Bay Area counties that heavily regulates its public pools. And today in the 4x4, we are taking 4 minutes during the 4 to find out more about public pool safety and what you need to know before you dive in this summer.
With us now, Marilyn Underwood, Director of Environmental Health for Contra Costa County. Marilyn, thanks for being here with us.
You're welcome.
We should note in the study and the results we're going to talk about, Contra Costa County was not part of this study.
That's correct.
Okay, but your reaction when you hear 1 out of 8 pools had to be closed, should we be surprised by this? Were you? We have to be able to trust our pools, right?
Yeah, and I actually looked back at our data from 2015. Theirs was from 2013. We found about the same rate of closure, about 1 out of every 8 we ended up closing. And we closed them for reasons that are important, because the pH or the pool chemistry was out of whack, and that we need to have the pool chemistry right, the disinfectant level, so that pathogens are killed that we slough off from our bodies, so that other people don't get sick when they incidentally ingest it. And we also close because the fences aren't adequate, and we don't want kids to be able to get in, or the gates are not self-closing. That's really a big one. You know, when you go through a public pool gate, at your HOA, at the hotel, we want to see that that gate actually closes all the way, so a child can't just accidentally push and get inside. So those are the reasons why we'll close, both in Contra Costa County and in these studies that they saw.
When I was reading some of the results of this study, and I heard the word closure, and you start to get excited, I freaked out. I'm like, God, that's a lot of closures. But at the same time, I'm glad they're closing. I use a community pool quite often with my family and my 2 children who are 3 and 6. And one of the things I like about it is they're on top of it. It seems like they're testing the water, both in the kind of the kiddie pool and the main pool every 30 minutes, 60 minutes. And that's what I mean, what other preventive steps can you do to catch things that if they do find something, they have to close it?
Well, first of all, your municipal pools are going to be some of the best, overseen, because they do want to make sure that the pH and the pool chemistry is kept correct. If it starts to get out of whack too much, they really are going to have problems. They might have to empty the pool water to really get it back in the right shape. So yes, they're going to be monitoring quite often to make sure it's in the right range.
But maybe it's the pool at the apartment complex that is more of a concern.
Sure. I mean, operating a pool is very complicated. That's why most HOAs and hotels and motels and such actually have pool operators, professional folks that they hire to do the pool chemistry and look after the pool. It is very complicated. I mean, we have a pool checklist inspection of over 57 different items that we're looking for. So it is very complicated, and no wonder why you end up getting some violations.
So Marilyn, you mentioned pH levels, and according to CDC in this report, the most common problems were pH levels or disinfectant concentrations, as well as safety equipment issues.
Right.
So I wonder, okay, they caught it. What about the pools, or are there many pools that aren't being inspected? Or at least not as often as they should be? How do we know?
Well, not in California. California is one of the states where we have state laws and regulations that require inspection.
Every public pool?
Not every public pool. Now remember, a public pool is any pool other than your one in your backyard. So it is the HOAs, the hotels, all of those are considered public pools, and we inspect them. Every environmental health department in the state inspects those on a regular basis to make sure they're safe. So people can go out and do a great activity, a great healthy activity in a healthy pool.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, what drives you crazy the most when you hear or see someone doing something?
I find the self-closing gate personally the most disturbing, because it's the one that has the most extreme endpoint that is of concern. I mean, if you have pH out of whack, it may mean that your chlorine levels may not be as effective. It may cause some skin irritation if the pH is too high or too low. But that's way different than a child accidentally drowning, and that's really something I want to see prevented.
Yep.
So do we have access to that information? Can I check to see X pool and X city passed all of its inspections or failed all of it? Do we have, as the public, can we go online?
It's interesting. We have, so far we put our food facility inspection data online, and we have an app for it, but we haven't done the pool
we
inspection.
We need to, right?
I know, you're right.
I need to know.
All right, you're going to spur us on.
This one fails every month. I want to know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we do have people that call in and ask about their spas, often their
Okay.
24-hour spas, to find out about what the health of their spas. But we don't have the data online, but we should.
Okay.
We got to shoot for that.
We should.
There are some times when I'm sitting in the kiddie pool and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know about this with my daughter. But is that worse? One of those, the wading pools, or
Definitely the
more
wading
problems
pools,
than the
diarrhea
adult,
accident. I mean, the poo-poo accidents.
Yeah, the
absolutely,
little
they
ones.
happen, and you see them all the time if you go to pools where they have the kiddie pool.
That's life. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marilyn, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.